All right, Chris, thank you. Breaking news now. The convicted co-conspirators of former Spartanburg County Sheriff Chuck Wright have been sentenced after pleading guilty to federal crimes.
Former employee Lawson Watson, who was hired by Wright and stole more than $200,000 in salary and benefits for work he never did, was sentenced to 16 months in federal prison. And former chaplain Amos Durham, who funneled nearly $90,000 out of the agency's benevolence fund meant to support deputies in need, received 5 years probation.
Our Caitlin Ashbaugh joins us live outside the federal courthouse of Greenville County. Caitlin, what happened inside the courtroom today?
Well, we heard from the defense and also the prosecution today, and at some point we heard these words spoken: a walking ATM in Chuck Wright's hand. When employees spoke with the FBI during this investigation, those are the aliases that they gave to former employees Lawson Watson and Amos Durham in regards to their corruption that they committed alongside former Sheriff Chuck Wright. And the court also determined today that that public corruption that the trio committed was an open secret for years. A stiff verdict for Lawson Watson, the maximum federal prison sentence 16 months and a full restitution of more than $349,000. He's set to pay $80,000 up front, and the rest he'll owe in monthly payments of $2,000 after his time behind bars. Here's what Watson said to the court today. Quote, "It is super embarrassing to be up here and to speak in front of this many people. I would appreciate going back to work to pay my debts. I would never cheat anyone." The defense asked the court to waive prison time because of Watson's age, his medical conditions, and his cooperation with the case and any payments. In opposition, the prosecution called this a no-show job scheme based in greed. Quote, "Wright had the power. The payments went to Watson. Corruption goes to both."
He's a hard-working man. He's going to do all he can. And so he wants to get this behind him and go back to work and pay restitution.
The prosecution fought for a matching federal prison sentence to Durham as a co-defendant, saying his behavior enabled Wright and himself to rob the charity fund blind. They added he was told by employees there was no paper trail for the fund and that the cash should not be withdrawn. The prosecution fought for a matching federal prison sentence to Durham as a co-defendant, saying his behavior enabled Wright and himself to rob the charity fund blind. They added he was told by employees there was no paper trail for that fund and that cash should not be withdrawn from it. A different outcome for former chaplain Amos Durham, who received the maximum 5-year sentence of probation. The judge's final words to the former chaplain, quote, "Mr. Durham, we're tethered together for the next 5 years. Please do not mess up." Unlike Wright and Watson's case, the court did speak of a corruptive power dynamic between Durham and Wright.
Because whenever you say things like that, it sounds like you're making excuses, and Reverend Durham never wanted to make excuses.
Not a disappointment to the U.S. Attorney's Office, who said this was expected and they're hopeful the money will be paid in full. The verdict, they say, stands as a statement to rebuilding public trust and deterring corruption.
Hopefully it sends a message that, that we're watching people and that we're going to hold them accountable no matter who they are. And that's what happened today, and I think the judge sent a clear message with this sentence.
And Watson, similar to Wright, will need to self-report to a federal prison within the next 30 to 45 days. That prison has not yet been determined by the court. As for Durham, he's expected to pay the rest of his restitution, which he already has paid about half of it up front. We asked his attorney today whether he would return to being a pastor of 29 years. He said that's between him and his congregation. Reporting in Greenville, Caitlin Ashbaugh, WYFF News 4.
Caitlin, thank you. And you can read our full coverage of former Spartanburg County Sheriff Chuck Wright and his associates sentencing hearings this week on our website, WYFF4.com.